We've got a really good relationship now that Trey and Richard have been working hand in hand with the county. I think that they felt like that they weren't having enough information. We've really tried to make a huge effort that wasn't the case any longer. So there's ongoing dialogue. There's certain task force that are going to be put together. So I really think that that's not going to be an issue. I think that that'll be something. Can I say that there won't be any traffic for a Grand Prix? I'd be lying to you. You'd all know. Of course there's going to be traffic. And if there's not any traffic, guess who's going to be the saddest guy? That's going to be me. That means I didn't do a very good job. On the F1 front, I think that everything is going really well. I spoke to Bernie actually about 100 yards from here. That's why we were a couple minutes late. So he's really pleased with the way everything's going. Tomorrow's his birthday, so he was actually calling about the gift that I gave him that I'm not going to share with y'all because I'm sure it'll make it out in the press, but it was a very unique 80th birthday present that I gave that I think everyone in Texas will be proud of. That's being what I chose to give him. They're pleased. The FIA Senate is meeting all next week, talking about a lot of the rule changes for next year, talking a lot about the procedural changes. There's been a rumor, y'all might have read it in the Statesman, that there's certain people trying to push the 90-day mandate limit on a track inspection. That has always been in effect, but Abu Dhabi didn't do it, Valencia didn't do it, Singapore didn't do it, Korea obviously didn't do it. But what I'm saying is, we naturally, if we have the luxury of having a final inspection 90 days before and being able to get a preliminary race in as a promoter and as an ownership group, we would love to have that luxury, right? Who wouldn't like to work the bugs out of the system? But when you've got such a short runway with the way the demands of how quickly you need to build because of the way that Bernie is structuring his contracts now, I don't think we have that luxury, and so I don't want us to be penalized. I don't want it to be that, wow, if we're ready, 36 days before, that we didn't get the final inspection. So I feel really confident that that's not going to be an issue, that no matter what is raised, there's no way that you don't have a Grand Prix if you're ready the day before. I mean, Bernie's coming to race, end of story. So from that standpoint, people have asked about timing. Where are you on the calendar? Again, I think I stated this to you guys. I think there are pros and cons to making any argument, right? You could argue that during the early summer it's too hot for the fans. It'd be better to go in the fall. I kind of tend to agree with that. In the fall, the problem is then you're really competing. You're competing on TV with the NFL, which is hard to do. And in this particular area, it's a massive coordinating effort between the Texans, the Cowboys, UT football, and your event. And so I have my personal preference of when I would like to see the Grand Prix. I'm not going to share it with y'all because then Bernie will call me saying, why am I trying to force his hand? We're going to be ready to go in June 2012, and hopefully we're able to get the date that we really want long term.
Is close proximity to the Canadian Grand Prix a consideration so to minimize logistical issues?
Yeah, so all that so the way FOM travels is they have 747s, 7 jumbos that move everything. So naturally, when they go to Canada, they're already on this side of the continent. But when they go to South America, freight comes through the United States anyway, and they're not adverse to jumping back and forth. I mean, hence they're in Brazil one weekend and they're in Abu Dhabi the next. But yes, it would save money if you combine it when it's a swing. So we'll just have to see. I mean, I don't know when that's going to be. If I knew that we were going to have a mild early June, I'd say that makes sense for a million reasons. Simply because a lot of the school districts around the United States are already out. A lot of the ones on the West Coast are already out because they get out a week before we do. So hence you are in peak travel time. If you look at our state as a whole, what goes on in June, it's actually a pretty slow month in comparison to the rest of the calendar. So from that standpoint, it is ideal. My fear is, I was in Dallas in '84, and granted that was in mid-July, but the weather's rough, and you would rather want 70 degrees chamber of commerce type skies and all that. But I think that it'll be a process to where maybe year 1 and 2 are trying to accommodate and fight for what we really want, what we think is best for the event long term. But then it also needs to be put more into the bigger master plan of what else does that do as far as your other events, your alternative energy that you're trying to do with manufacturers.